Today's task, we're going to be adding distilled water to the wells in each one of these flooded lead acid batteries.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Shouldn't be too hard of a job, but we are going to need a few things along the way. We're going to need, of course, distilled water. Important to use distilled water instead of filtered water or bottled water that isn't distilled, and that's because they have impurities in the minerals and other things that might be deposited into the fins in the batteries, which would degrade the battery. We don't want to do that. Another tool, funnel. I like a funnel with a curved spout here. That's going to help me access pieces all the way in the back. The wells get up underneath here, and that helps me reach them. I like to have a flashlight. Gives me direct access for the light straight down. I can see into each one of the wells. Need gloves. We are dealing with battery acid. If anything happens to splash, I want to be able to have that first layer of protection. This will not save us though long term. We do need to neutralize that. Got baking soda here to help with that. If we do get it on our gloves, if it spills over and we have it, we need to go ahead and put that on there, let it bubble up, wipe it clean. I wear a hoodie that keeps my shirt and my clothes underneath, and then I choose to wear a grungy pair of pants. If you're not wearing a grungy pair of pants, an apron could be a great choice to wear. And then goggles, glasses to help with anything that might be splashing back at us as we are pouring the distilled water into each one of these wells. Different golf carts have different seat configurations. Mine lifts up, and it's got a couple different hooks up front here that you can lift up on, and it simply removes like that. You set it back on there. Incredibly low tech and effective. As I go through here, I enjoy having a light over the top. If you have a light that can hang, great. Several clip-on lights to provide lighting. Definitely something you want to do while you're topping these up. If you can't see directly down into each one of these chambers, then you're going to have a difficult time knowing when they're full. Each one of these wells can be unscrewed, and then they'll need to be filled. Let's get this one. Okay. There is liquid in each one of these. It is a battery acid and distilled water mixed in here. While we're working on these, we're going to need to pay attention to what's going on in each one of these wells. We'll be filling it up with water. I use a funnel. That way I can come over here and fill it. I have some up underneath here, and so this allows me to fill it with ease. But right there, what we're looking at is the water level and the fins down in there. And that's that. We then close up each one of our wells. We'll need to do that 5 more times for each one of these. And once I'm done, I'll do a charge cycle on all these batteries. If I need to, at this moment, I could go back and do a overcharge, which balances out all of the batteries to essentially the same level. In doing so, that causes a lot of evaporation of the water. So I may need to come back in here and refill these. It's best to start all the way full old wives' tale. I don't know if it's true or not, but the used to be said that those fins, if you let the water level get below where it should be and all the way down to those fins, it starts exposing the fins to air. I've been told that that ruins those fins. It would no longer work appropriately. And that, of course, that would be bad. So fill it all the way up for our, before we charge, before we do the overcharge and conditioning, and then go back through and make sure that we have that all taken care of as far as filled all the way back up. Okay, I'm going to go through here and finish going through each one of these. The very bottom of this cap in here, there is a tab that sticks down. I am trying to get the water level just to touch that tab. And in doing so, that's how I know it's full. Some of these are lower than others. And so you have to customize the fill on each one to the level it needs. If filling up these lead acid batteries isn't your cup of tea, you can take this to your local golf cart dealer. You could have them come out to fill it, or you could change the battery type. These are flooded lead acid batteries. You could use an AGM lead acid battery, and that's going to be sealed, and you don't have to add water to it. The other option is lithium ion. It would require a completely new setup in here for all the batteries, an incredibly expensive choice. However, the performance is much better. The AGM batteries, they're at least 50% more, sometimes all the way up to 100% more, and you have to make sure that your charger can handle the AGM battery. Not all of the flooded lead acid battery chargers can. And there you have it. We've topped up the distilled water in each one of our 6 batteries in here, and we'll get another 3 months or so of time before we have to fill it up again. Thanks for joining me on this journey while we're learning how to do it ourselves on the maintenance for our golf carts. Today's task, we're going to add distilled water to the wells and the batteries of each one of my flooded lead acid.